Hello everyone, my name's Rob Warner.
And I'm Eliot Jackson.
And this is Just Ride, the cycling podcast from Red Bull. And today I'm going to say we've pulled out all the stuff. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
We have a proper one today.
This is about as good as it gets, right?
Yeah, I mean, the guy that we have on, he's cracked the code on the track himself. And I think he's trying to bottle up all of that, add a couple more ingredients, and see if he can impart some of his wisdom onto the next generation.
I think it's going quite well so far. We're about to find out. Before we get into it, remember to like or subscribe so you don't miss any episodes in the future. But should we get into this one, Eliot?
Let's go.
So we're joined today by the most successful male downhill racer of all time. 22 World Cup wins to his name. On top of that, he's got 4 World Championship titles. The first in 2003 and the last in 2021. A couple of years after that, he stopped racing and has now got a new role, which is what we're about to find out about. Welcome to Just Ride, Greg Minnaar, the GOAT. How you doing? How you feeling? And how is life? How's this new job of yours? What is it? I don't even know what you are. Are you team manager, race director? I've heard all sorts.
Yeah, I've kept it a bit vague, but thanks for having me on the show.
Nice, thanks for coming in, mate. And vague is good.
Now, it kind of felt like team director was a bit, somewhere I could kind of splash into a bit, different sectors of the team. I work within the...
So that is your job title?
Yeah.
Team director?
Yeah, I work with all the sponsors, help the athletes. But also, we're working on performance with the athletes. We work on the technical side of the bike. So I kind of dip into different sectors of the team. And so that was kind of a way for us to have a vague title that kind of represented everything.
I think it's interesting because there isn't.
You
say it's vague, but maybe you just want a little bit of control everywhere. But
I'm sorry.
I think
dip his finger in any pie.
I think it would be interesting for you to lay out like the structure of the team and the people on the team.
Flip. I came into Norca and then there was like, well, finish up your racing, but you set up the team around yourself to finish up your final year of racing. And you
quit to end of 2024.
24, yeah. Right, so when I went into Norca, we, I brought in Alan Miller, I brought in Tom Duncan, Alan to be like performance and, head of performance, and then Tom like head of technical. And Kathy Sessler, she's been on the road for so long. If you're going to book accommodation or get to some venue, she's the person to do it.
You got the band back together.
We got the band back together. So, it was cool to pull all these people back together into a team and finish my racing career, and then take it on to build this team for the future. And having athletes like Danny Hart, Gracie, Lena, Eris, Bodie, it's been really cool. So, I was quite lucky. I was quite fortunate to have this opportunity because being a racer, and having a smooth transition out of racing, but also something that I've done for a long time. So I know a lot of people and able to pull them all together and set this platform up for the next generation.
I think it's interesting too because you've been at the top of the sport for so long, like across so many different eras. Throughout different generations of downhill, it was like everyone at some point like had their own mechanic, right? And everyone at some point like had a physio and a chef, and like that was the thing.
Data bikes,
and then data bikes and stuff like that.
I kind of feel like Rob, like in the late 90s when I was still coming into the sport, it seemed like there was like a real high level of professionalism. Like it seemed like teams had like
there was insane
a lot of money
in the
spending
sport,
good money. Like each ride had mechanics, and then you went back to like 2000, 2001, everything kind of died. I mean,
at one point, I had a suspension guy flown out to every race to literally, with RST. They weren't the most reliable forks, actually. Well, no, and he came and he cleaned them. After one run, they'd need cleaning, so I'd have my forks cleaned after every. That's the height sort of like you could go to in the late 90s.
Really?
Yeah, take them apart, clean them, they're a bit sticky. Half hour later, I'd go and do another run. Yeah, I mean, it was insane.
So we've had like this, when I came in, it was this real big sport. I mean, big trucks.
Yeah.
And then like through the early 2000s, well, we had like a world crisis and economy, everything died out. And but downhill took a big hit,
on its feet, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you had guys like top riders just moving to teams, not even to get paid, just to be on a team to get to races. So through the early 2000s, we took like quite a bad hit. I mean, I remember that we probably had like, Global Racing was a big team. I think there were like 9 riders, but I think there were probably like 4 mechanics.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And they had physios and trainers, and that was all set up, but that only lasted 2 years, and then it was like down to probably like the bones of downhill. Like
Yeah, the trucks went
Everything.
replaced by like sprinter vans. You know, it's taken a long time for it to
I mean,
come
you had
back.
guys like Steve Pete having to set up his own team.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, right.
He was like, probably one of the biggest names at that era, and
Still winning.
top, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
He was in his prime.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he had to go and set up his whole team on himself, so on his own. So yeah, we kind of went through that dip, and then it progressed. Rob became a commentator, and that Freecaster days, things kind of picked up. And
Well, it was out there, wasn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, as wild and loose as it was, it did bring the sport into the public domain almost, well, not for the first time, but for the first time since the 90s.
for sure. And
First time it was
I think it's
internet
been cool to see
broadcast.
it just grow from there. I mean, I remember in it was maybe the World Cup in South Africa where Freecaster like crashed because there was 120,000 people or something
Yeah.
logging on, trying to log on.
Yeah.
To think where it is now, it's cool to see that progression. But
Yeah.
flip now, it's from a team side, we've gone through that period where the riders were doing everything to try and be the best they could, and now you're trying to, as from a team, you're trying to set up everything to take it off the rider. So all the rider has to do is just race. And that's where we're at now. And you look at the race and it's so close.
Yeah.
And you've got to get through these rounds to get into that final. So there's big investments from teams, but you need to support that rider to get to the final.
What are the like key components that go into rider performance?
It depends on the rider.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty tough, I must say. It's last year being the first year in this position, obviously in 24 we're setting things up and I was still racing. Last season, I kind of try to observe and understand a little bit what's going on and how we can support these riders into 26. But it's also kind of tough, I'd hate to be a person going, oh, this is the way I would do it.
But it must be hard not to. Because
Well-
you did have enormous success more than anyone else.
But
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you are in a better position to tell people how to do it than anyone else on planet Earth. Right? And I know you don't want to, but it must be difficult for you, right?
Well, I always felt like I had a bit of success, but I never really dominated. And I felt like that's what kept me racing is I never really went through that stage of dominating through a period. And
Did you not?
I didn't think so, no. I didn't feel like it.
What was the most World Cups you ever won in a year? Do you know?
I think 3. Yeah.
So like half.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to think when didn't he dominate with 22 World Cup downhill wins? Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like
go on.
I don't
Sorry,
want to
mate.
force my way or my opinion onto the riders, but it's been really cool coming into this season where I've been able to kind of identify a few things with some of the riders and work through them and give them some homework to do and to prepare for the season. And I think it's starting to work. I think it's working really well. I think the preseason racing, the team's had a solid start, so.
What do you think? How does it feel going from trying to dominate, for yourself, like thinking about getting the performance out of like one person, like an individual, what you need to eat and train and think about and stuff, and now thinking about all these other people? Like you have all of the riders and staff and everything, and it's like a completely like selfless endeavor now.
It's been really cool. I wish that I had worked in a team before I raced. Like you feel like when I won or was still on the podium, it was great. I worked really hard when I raced. I felt like I never really had the skill of the other riders, and I always felt like I had to put in a bit more work to try and get there. And so, when you're on the podium, you're like, oh, wow, it's finally like, paid off all this hard work and da-da-da. But when you understand what a team does behind the scenes and the mechanics, I was always really appreciative of mechanics and understood that they were always the backbone of the team and were in the pits, the first in the pits, last to leave. But then when you understand like the whole team, team meetings run into like 9 p.m. And there's a lot going on. If riders really understood how much is going on behind, I think you'd appreciate their
Has
podium
it
a
even
lot more.
surprised you?
It has.
Because, like you say, you're only a year into this role, but like you have been around mountain bike racing, I don't know, since you were like 8 years old. But it's still, you're still seeing things you didn't see as a racer.
For sure. And maybe, maybe the team's a little bit bigger now. I mean, we like 17 staff, like 17.
You've got 17.
Well, 17 in total with the athletes, 5 athletes. So we like,
Oh, it's a big setup.
it's a big setup. And, we're not one of the biggest teams. This is just how big teams are these days.
Yeah.
And to group the team together every week and we've got management team and we meet once a week, and then you're trying to speak to like the performance side, then the technical side, then the athletes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Now that you have perspective, do you look back and think about stuff that you did and see the riders maybe doing the same thing, and you're like, that doesn't actually matter? Like if you guys
we're
just
going
chilled
through it right
out,
now.
like
We're going through it right now. And I had a call with the rider on the way here. And, I kind of like, it's really, like I said earlier, I don't want to force my opinion onto a rider. And straight away, I was also in a customs line, so I couldn't really like keep going to the small talk. I had a flight to catch. So I was like,
listen.
Anyway, I know exactly what you're going through. I've been there before. This is the problem. Like, don't worry about it. It's fine. You're an amazing rider. You don't just lose the skill overnight.
Yeah.
Gave an example exactly of what I went through and how I felt.
Yeah.
Cheers, got to catch a flight. But it's funny because you can pick it up, but I also don't want to force it on to riders. But my way of, but I've experienced it, and so which is good and bad, because sometimes it's you can see what's going on.
Do you get? If there's a red flag, do you step in, sort of thing? If you see the rider doing, like you say, it's difficult because you're dealing. These are their own athletes as well.
Yeah. Last year, no. Last year, I'd let it play out. But I think going into this year, we had to make some stuff. Had to make a few adjustments and had a few chats and spoke about some stuff, and it's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's been cool to see that, using the experience to help the riders. It's not an easy sport.
Yeah.
But I'm going back to like we were chatting about stuff like in the customs line back to like 2001, 2002. It's a long time ago, but it's the same pressures and that they're dealing with. So
the sport's changed.
We're kind of
but
like
it's still the same, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That's right.
Modern downhill teams are so much different now. And like, I do kind of feel like you have two tracks. Like there's the athlete side, like the athlete performance, like you're talking about, and then the bike side. And like, if we talked about the athlete side, I feel like one of the things too that would be interesting to get your perspective on is like, how do you find good athletes? Like, how do you know that Gracie is going to be great, or like to pick up Bodie or something like that? Like, is there something that makes a rider great that you see?
It's a hard one. I think what makes a rider great, I don't know. But the sport's kind of funny. We haven't had that, like, there's not that many riders that have kind of, if you go back, it's not like every year there's a new person on the podium. Mm-hmm. There's like, and you can go from like track to track.
Yeah. Certain eras sort of like, of certain riders, actually. Yeah.
Like Rowick's been up there forever.
Yeah.
Gwyn era.
Yeah.
Your era, you don't see. I don't know when your era was. It expanded over like 2 decades.
But there's groups of riders that kind
Petey's era.
They're there for a while and then they'll drop out or retire, whatever the case. So it's not like you have these random guys popping in and then winning, or there's normally like a group that are consistently up there.
Agreed. Yeah.
So it's really hard to try and support a rider who's just out of that group to get in that group. But that's our aim. I want to have a team that this platform to allow these riders to be themselves, to be characters that they are, but also give a platform to get into that mix.
To be a consistent
rider.
Yeah, top flight.
To me, that was like, in my years of racing, going to a team that Rob Broskett was kind of leading with Kathy's sister. They gave, we were like Nathan Rennie, Steve Pete, Josh Bryce, and myself.
Yeah.
But we all were able to be ourselves, and we all had this platform to like be the best we could. But the team had the base to let us do that, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
And it was probably the greatest downhill team ever assembled. Wasn't it?
It was amazing.
When you look at the success and the characters, let's be honest, there's no wonder the brand blew up like it did. Like, you nailed it. Like, it was right. You were right. It was a bunch of almost misfits that could win World Cup races. It was incredible. It was when you throw right in.
And we had this like team where like we were all competitors, but we all had the same opportunity to be the best we could.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
the individuality.
Different, we didn't try and follow one rider to be the best. It was the platform that allowed us to excel. And so that's what we've set up with the team. So each rider's got the same opportunity to be the best they can.
Yeah.
And it was so good, like to see Gracie having such a great season.
She won 3, did she, last year?
Yeah, that's
amazing.
crazy.
You know, if you look at like Gracie's like world ranking,
Hardline, Tasmania as well.
Yeah.
She's incredible, right? At jumping.
she's amazing.
Yeah.
And Lena, like, I met Lena when she was 13 at a Fox Ride Day. This young girl just came, pushed past me to drop in this line in Leo gang. And I thought, oh, sheepers, here we go. This is going to be a long ride down. And she just put this bike completely sideways with a massive whip. And I was like, oh, geez. I didn't even clear the jump. I was like, whoa. No. And she just kept going. I was like, as soon as she, she came to World Cup racing, I was like, you're coming to my team.
Yeah. Wow.
And then she won a World Cup. So it's been cool to see. And then Danny Hart, like, I didn't know Danny very well before he came on the team, but he's been such a great, like,
dude, mate, when you get to know him.
He's so funny. He's so nice to the young athletes. He really leads them well.
Good
but he's
mentor.
hilarious. He's a funny guy.
Yes.
I never really saw that side of him.
Yeah.
No, he's super funny. That's right. Yeah, he's hilarious. He is. And you are known for being like very, how do I word this?
Precise,
particular, yeah, with your bike setup. That's right. Very. And I mean, the success is there to back it up. Do you feel like, how involved are you with the riders setting their bikes up? Do you offer advice there? I mean, and how much are you involved with that bike from the ground up? Like, it's a newish bike. Have you had a lot of development? Are you still riding it?
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions there.
Yeah.
But I think we'll go back to
break it down.
I think we'll go back to like, I feel like I was always quite a tall rider. I mean, Rob, you and I are pretty similar.
Yeah.
There's not many of us.
You only got a bike
tall.
that fitted you at the end of your career. I never had one.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That is true.
And so like you race trying to set up a bike to race this small little 26-inch.
Yeah.
Where there was, I get the Honda, pull the Honda off the wall, and the thing is tiny.
Yeah.
We're always trying to adjust to go faster. Like you counterbalancing every time you go down, and you got like trying to compete against Sam Hill, who's on these inside lines, just so centered in his bike, just gripping and taking this corner. And you try to do the same thing, you can't.
Yeah.
It just.
And that was down to Sam or his bike?
Well, I think he was an amazing rider, and he just sat in between in between the wheels, where we were kind of over the back, over the front.
I got you because because he was a better height. Yeah. You're right there. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
And so I think I ended up having this like such a sensitive feel to to the bike, which is great for like testing and developing, but also like you always adjusting because there's something that's not feeling right.
So you think it's harder to set up a bike if you're like a bit of an abnormal size compared to more of an average size?
I think back then definitely because the bikes were so small. So
back then
we weren't centered at all being so tall.
No, that's right.
One of the guys that like Petey him and Rennie.
Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Nathan, Rennie, and Steve Pete were incredibly good at cornering, being as tall as they are. They could just carry so much speed. So anyway, but going back to it, it's like I think that gave me like a really sensitive feel, which I spent my whole practice just trying to feel comfortable on the bike and setting up the bike. So it was good because we can, I can feel stuff really easily. It won't give me a run or two and I'll figure, find the issues in the bike or something's not right. And I think those years of being at Honda, I mean, Honda was incredible.
Was it mad working with the Japanese and their level of technology? Or was it?
It was the first run. And every run was documented. How'd you feel? What the bike felt? I was like, well, it was like quite a long downhill. I didn't even know where I was going. How was handling? Give it, and go through everything, and it's like super detailed. And that experience was amazing. And even now today, I'll go on the bike and I can feel it, but it's up to like Tom and the team to identify where it comes from. So I can say like, I'm getting this sensation. And usually that comes from this or that.
Yeah.
And they'll find the solution.
So Tom Duncan obviously has been a mechanic for, on Syndicate. He's worked at Cannondale, like is an amazing engineer. And you guys have done so much around that structure. And it's interesting to hear you talk about Honda because like now you guys have like custom software for the team. You've got data collection. Like Jeff, one of the mechanics, is like, doing data on site, like documenting runs. Is that where that comes from? Is kind of like your experience at Honda, like seeing how things should really work?
Yeah, it was it was so cool coming to Norco because I didn't realize that they had such a great engineering team.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't understand that they had this like real big push on the back end. Like David Cox in-house has set up this incredible team. And so when they'd really like set up this data program to kind of work on the back end of setting up a regular bike. So you can go into Hardline.
There's like a setup sheet.
Yeah. And so like they're working to get all this data to feed into that. And so I was like, wow, this is amazing. So when I brought Tom in, I mean, he helped them refine the system and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But it also helps us like, you know, we're on quite a new bike. We're on a prototype bike. And we want to be able to race. So setting up a bike's, there's no time, you know, right? So I want to be able to like let the riders do like 2 runs and be able to set that bike up completely for that track and not have to worry about, you know, let the rider just focus on riding and we'll have the bike dialed on the back end. And it's not easy because data can spit out tons of numbers.
Right.
But I think Tom and Jeff and the rest of the team have got it down to like a fine art now where they can pull what we need.
If you took that away from a rider for a weekend and just said, get on your bike, ride it by feel, you know, no data acquisition, is it possible still now to be competitive or are those days gone? Do you need the science? You think you need it?
I think so. This is just the way we can support the riders to get that
It gets you
consistency.
somewhere near as well. It's not like the final. Sometimes also the riders will have adjustments on top of it or what? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the rider and the feedback you're getting from the rider. Some riders won't even notice the difference in what you're doing. Some riders can feel it straight away. But it's been cool, you know, like going through the testing this season, trying to set up the bikes. We're on a different frame this year. So we did a lot of testing, like really slow, long process with Tom and the team.
What kind of stuff are you testing? Like what kind of, like in the data, like what numbers are you looking at?
There's
like,
lots of numbers.
Yeah. like just to give the audience like a feel, because you see the data bikes in the collection, like I don't think most people even know what kind of numbers are like.
Yeah, what does a data bike throw out?
Yeah, you want to see like the rebound speeds, compression speeds, like the ride heights of the bike. I like to look at rebound speeds myself. Like,
and then what does that give you? Like, are you just trying to get into a range?
Yeah, like we've got a number that we like to, a range we need to be in with the rebound speed of the fork and the shock. And Tom's got this process to go from, I think it's rebound compression, whatever, and they run through it. But you can see if the bike's like, you know, just not rebound quick enough.
Yeah.
Trying to get the rider some control. There's stuff like that. So, you know, but then going back to your previous question, like, do I jump in and help the riders? Last year, no, but this year, yes. Like, I can, we'll have guys on track filming and I can see a body position, which then I'll just say to Tom, like, I can see that the rider's not pushing into the fork.
Right.
So it's not necessarily that the fork's firm. It's the rider doesn't have enough confidence in that fork to push in.
That's super interesting.
Make the fork a bit stiffer.
Wow, that's super cool.
And that's quite cool because, you know, from body position on the bike, brake lever angle, handlebar roll.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's quite cool because I can see it.
And how many things you can adjust, like you say, handlebar roll. 1 mil can make a bike feel totally different. Huge difference. It's mad, isn't it?
Huge difference. And so that's what we were playing with in the first test and into the second. And that was really cool to see. Like we now we're setting up a whole new bike and just adjusting the roll of the bars, adjusting brake lever heights, seeing the rider's body position, letting them like attack a bit more. So yeah, that's been quite cool to work with Tom and his team on that.
Are the riders receptive to this, or the riders, you know, because like we've all raced. Like, I'm not sure I'd want too many people telling me what to do. That was me. And obviously you feel the same way. Like, it didn't feel to me like in year one you really wanted to push your knowledge on anyone, but now perhaps you do, because obviously being who you are, it ain't going to be far off. But is that a new thing this year? You're going to be a bit more hands-on. I suppose it's new. This role's new to you as well, isn't it, really?
It's super new, but I think it's also about letting the riders trust the process and have a bit of faith in what you're doing. And, you know, there's fashions that come through bike setup.
Absolutely.
And it's just trying to show the rider where you can adjust stuff and then show them the video, show them the speed, you show them times, the data, the video, and they're starting to understand and get it. It's cool. It's been a good testing process through this year.
You love it.
Yeah.
I bet you.
Yeah.
I can imagine you looking at the number. The pressure's off for you to perform, but you can really dissect.
Don't worry
now.
about it. We got it. But
Let a big GM take a look.
but it's been a cool process because, like, Tom and I in 24 or 25, we're bumping heads in a way that, like, this is what he was wanting, this is what I was wanting, and we couldn't quite, like.
Yeah.
And now we've got that process so good.
Amazing.
And he's done an amazing job this year. Like, setting the bikes up. He's got it down to, like, a fine art. It's cool to see.
Rob was saying, like, talking about the pressure, it's kind of interesting to think about because, like, on one hand, you're not the person riding on the track, but, like, do you feel almost more pressure now?
For sure.
Like, but yeah, like, no,
I
hey,
just thought
Take this
that.
line. Trust me, it's great. I mean, it's hard. Like,
You can only mess up a
Yeah.
race run when you're racing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't travel to the last event, and Tom and we sent like a little satellite team, and Tom headed up, and Tom's texting me because he's like, should we do this? And he's quite nervous because he doesn't want to same thing,
Call it,
put on to the rider, and then
Yeah.
something happens, and no, don't worry about it. Just send it, go for it. Just be aggressive on this change and send it. But it's hard, you come into the season, we've already got a rider injured, so we're down to 4. And it's hard. Like, you want a rider to do a line, or you can't really go, hey, you need to do this line. Half the time I tell Danny, I'm like, hey, I think this is a gap. And he laughs at me. I was like, okay, cool. We're going to put money on this one. He actually still owes me 300 quid. In the tour, I was like, that's a gap there. And listen to him. And he's funny, eh? So I said, okay, Joe Smith was on track for us, and last year, and Joe got the video. That was a gap.
you're like, you just look over. I mean, that was something that I thought was interesting. I was saying that we talked to Nico Mullally the other day, and I thought it was interesting being at some of the races earlier this year. And like you said, obviously Alan Milway, who's trained Athertons, you, like so many different people, and then Joe Smith, who's been a World Cup racer, top World Cup racer, is now coaching and also line spotting for you guys at the races. And a lot of the younger riders, like, don't really know how to pick lines, without all of this infrastructure, without their people on the track, without the WhatsApp messages and stuff like that. Like, do you think that that's good, that the riders are kind of don't have to think about that and just kind of outsource that to somebody else? Or do you think it's like a skill that
it's a hard one to judge. Like, you're trying to pull as much as you can off the rider to give them the best possible chance. But you're right. It's like, the riders do need to kind of, you can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
And you still got to ride the track and know where to go and how to ride it. What we try and do is, from a picking riders' lines, is also trying to understand the rider. Like, go back to like a Sam Hill era. There's no ways I could ride a line like Sam Hill.
Right.
But I could blast an outside line to try and keep up with his insides.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'd have to do. And so we're trying to, like, understand our riders, how they perform and where their strengths are, and then try and lead them onto those lines, and not to get caught trying to ride someone else's line. Like a Jackson and a Lewick are totally different builds, totally different bike setups. Maybe they're on the majority of lines, are they on the same line, but there's a good chance Jackson might be able to do a line that Lewick can't, and Lewick might not be able to do something Jackson can't. So you got to know the rider and then put them on their best possible line.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like, hearing you talk about this, because it's like such a system. Like, the bike needs to be set up for the rider, the riding style, the height, the build, and then that influences the lines, and then all of the training and stuff like that. Did you think about it? Did you always think about it like that?
No, but now that you're in the team, you want to put the rider in the best possible position.
Yeah.
When you're the rider, you're trying to put yourself in that position, so you're doing it all yourself. And maybe back when we were racing it, we didn't have the infrastructure to be able to lean into like this. But now, as the racing's got more competitive, we need to try and support the riders more.
Is there stuff that you look back now and you're like, man, I overlooked that? Like, if I would have known this, I would have won. Like,
Completely. I was so detailed, and maybe my ADHD just didn't help, because I would freak out. I need to walk that track and know every single rock route.
Yeah.
And I remember getting like the Aaron Gwynn era, where he just brought this new level of pace.
Yeah.
And I just remember going, no, there's no ways I can be so detailed. I need to just get off the brakes and go.
Go in a straight line as fast as I can.
I used to be so nervous of like front
man.
end catching like the edge of a loose rock.
Wow,
And so I try and know everything down this track. And eventually I was like, hey, I just need to get off the brakes and go. So it's really hard. You've gone through these phases where I was like a little bit too detailed. But just trying to like help the riders kind of, you can't win a race riding 100%. Like to me, that's impossible. You've got to be riding over 100%. So how are you going to get to 110% is how you break this course down. So like back it off where you don't feel comfortable, and where you do, just absolutely get off the brakes and go.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do, and help these riders just break the track down into sectors and get the routine that's going to be best suited to that rider. Cool. Because it's kind of a routine, right?
Yeah.
Left hand, jump, brake, right hander. It's a routine.
You've got a lot less time to get in that routine, right? The practice is a lot more limited now at the World Cup races. What challenges does that bring? I mean, compared to like when we had 3 days back in the day, right? It's minimal now.
It was like what? It was just a good time, right?
We used to turn up Tuesday, you do a full day Wednesday, Thursday, maybe take Friday off and race Saturday if you weren't too exhausted. Yeah, it changed. But now it's really short, isn't it?
I remember in Squaw Valley, and I was still just, I luckily enough got into top 10 in Big Bear and made some prize money, which allowed me to get to the next World Cup, which I think was in Squaw Valley.
Which was this, late 90s?
It was in 99.
Yeah.
And so I was going over to McDonald's for lunch because it was, I think, 30 cents a cheeseburger. And that's what I could afford.
Yeah, sure.
And then I rode back, because I'd ride down to McDonald's in the middle of practice. I mean, we had time. We had the whole day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I came past
lunch.
I came past the giant pit. I remember the Rob, Miles Rockwell, Sean McCarroll, all eating cheeseburgers from McDonald's. And I was like, hey, I'm on the...
It has moved on a bit.
It has. So we had a lot of time. I forgot what you were asking. Oh, practice route. It's short. So.
Yeah, you got short practice. Yeah, how hard is it? So you have to go a lot more
I
set
love
up,
me a
do you?
cheeseburger. I wish I was eating McDonald's right now.
It's not only short. You also want the rider to like do as little as possible, so they can be as strong as possible when it comes to those rounds.
So you don't want to waste energy with weight. I hadn't thought of that. Like, so the data bike must help get rid of some of that wasted runs, right?
For sure.
Does it? Yeah.
You don't want to waste time, waste runs, waste energy. It's
waste
like
energy.
You're trying to like take this porcelain doll to the top of the downhill so they can be the best they can be in that, qualifying runs.
It's a good way of putting it, isn't it?
You're now kind of competing with other teams. Like, instead of thinking about Aaron Gwynn, you're thinking of Specialized or Commencal and things like that. Like, and you guys are new. Like these teams have been around for a long time. How do you compete with a team? Do you look at what they're doing? You try to take stuff. Like, what does that look like now?
It's kind of the same as I feel like when I was racing. I'd look and see what other riders were doing, but trying to copy what they were doing, I was just going to be behind. And I had to be better than them and figure out how to get ahead. And that's what we're trying to do. I watch what other teams are doing with trackside support and we take it in, but we're trying to like move ahead of them and do things differently. We've got like a completely different pit setup, the way, our riders come into Tom's team dealing with the bike and getting it out.
Pit stop.
It is, yeah. We've got like an A practice team and a B practice team.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different setup. And then we're trying to, how we support the riders on the side of the track, do things a little bit differently there to get ahead. It doesn't always work, but you got to find the best way. But it's when you think about trying to be better than other teams, you've got guys like Max Commencal. And you might not know, but like I remember in the 90s, like that Sun team that Max had, that was next level.
Yeah.
I mean, they were probably
Francois Gachet winning World Cups after World Cup.
Yeah.
It was like,
Nicholas
don't
Villiers.
forget how good that Sun Chippy team was.
Yeah, I mean, they had this big truck with bikes with telemetry.
won
Nico
everything.
was on there,
They won
Cedric,
everything. Nico.
and Caro.
Yeah,
It was amazing. So
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
when you look at Max's passion now, it's still today racing, and
Yeah.
it's impressive to see. And he's still got like a really strong team.
Yeah.
It's he's got an eye for it.
I think the other thing that is similar but different is you having to talk to brands.
So you're going to say I'm similar to Max Commencal.
you guys are about
Give
the
it
same
4
age.
years.
You guys are about the same age, I think.
He's so funny. They're not far from us in Andorra.
Yeah.
And he's so cool. I call him Papa. He's like,
He's a genius.
yeah.
Brilliant, isn't
He
I
is
used
the
to try
best.
hustle some drinks from his bar and tell him I was his son.
GC, you've always had to get sponsors. As an athlete, you have to like get on a team and things like that. But now you're trying to build all of that structure. Like you guys have Adidas now.
Yeah, how cool is that? I mean, look at this.
That
It's
is
so
super
cool.
sick,
Like,
eh?
You know, like,
and
That's amazing.
Ellie at Norco was telling me about like some of the stuff they've done where they're talking about, what you guys are wearing and like individual kits. Like, yeah, talk a little bit about that partnership.
oh man, it's so cool. It's just to have like Norco coming in 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and suddenly you've got like one of the biggest brands in the world, and you've got Norco running underneath it. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And I'd been with 510 Adidas for years. I mean, I think it was like 2010. There wasn't really like a great clip shoe. I mean, there were a few shoes that were all right, but 510 had come out with this great rubber, but they didn't have a clip shoe. And so I went to Laura and I was like, I think you need to make a clip shoe. I want to make one with you. And we made this Minnaar 510 in, I think it was like 2010 or 2011. And so Luke Hans came into 510 and everything transitioned to Adidas, and Luke and I developed some shoes together, and it was great working with that team. It was so cool. So it was really cool to come back to Adidas, be a part of their program, and then get to that factory and see to the headquarters and actually see what goes on in Adidas. I mean, that's an incredible company.
Messy and like all of the same kind of thing.
So cool. So that's been amazing just to see a brand like that get into downhill.
Yeah.
And to have it in our race kit and to see the passion behind it. I mean, our kit's late coming into South Korea because the head of Adidas Creative heard that they're going to be on a downhill team, and she was like, we want to see this kit. We want to be a part of this. And we already had our kit design. So we had to go back to the drawing board in February.
Wow.
So, which is so cool to see. I mean,
Yeah.
this team is like doing all this soccer stuff there, all this crazy stuff, and they want to be a part of the downhill team. That's really cool.
Yeah.
A lot of energy from Adidas, and it's a great team to work with. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Once you first kind of like taking the role, you were talking about recruiting riders and like what that's been like, trying to help them understand like resources and like what this team can do versus another team that they might go to. Like, how do you convince a rider?
Was I hustling to get there?
You're hustling. Like, what is your pitch like to a rider? Like now there's a lot of teams that are big, like Canyon and Specialized and Mondraker and stuff. Like, how do you actually get a rider to believe in what you're doing?
You got to show them. You can't tell them. It's. I think that was probably our struggle to try and recruit. Was we were a new team.
Yeah.
And so we're doing things a little bit differently. But some of the riders saw the benefit in this and came across, and it's taken our time to establish ourselves. But I think we've come a long way in a short time. To be able to align with the brand like Adidas, they saw the vision that we have with this team and where we're going.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be, from what was kind of a struggle. We went through trying to get quite a few athletes, and I don't think that will happen again. I think we've proved that we can support a rider like. We haven't shown the riders that we can actually support them, but last year we did.
Yeah.
When you start to look at junior riders to pick up juniors now and bring them through, because like the junior category, I'm just thinking about the riders that are coming up to elite this year. Yeah, like
incredible.
The junior category is there, isn't it? Like they are. And they're already on elite pace, aren't they, nowadays?
They are. I mean, you look at like the last IXS Cup in Portugal. I mean, the top
juniors,
three junior women, I think we're quicker than the elite.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really
I mean, there's a lot of
They
hype
are.
on the men's side, but man, have a look at the women's side right now. These juniors are fast.
Yeah.
And they committed there.
Yeah.
They committed.
I mean, thinking about that, like with Gracie having such an amazing World Cup season last year, then also having all of the success at Red Bull Hardline, how do you feel about that? Like you want an
honest opinion?
Yeah, please. Please. Because I mean, you more than anyone, you've got a backflip a year thing that you need to do. Like there's a thing where you like.
Yeah, but that's different.
No, but I think it's
do
like
as I say, not as I do. What?
yeah, do as I say, not as I do.
It's hard. Like, this hardline thing's a tough one for us. If I had my way, Gracie wouldn't be there. There's just no point to it. I mean, look at Paul Jackson a couple of years ago. It doesn't make sense. The World Cup is so hard for a team to be in. Like, the team's got to score these points to be in the World Cup. Whereas before we didn't have that problem. So riders could go and, if they got injured, it wouldn't be. But now the teams invest a lot to be at the World Cup. And if your rider's injured and not racing the World Cup, you got a problem. So if it was my way, Gracie wouldn't be at hardline. But Gracie's really good at hardline, and she wants to be there. So I need to support Gracie too.
Right.
It's quite interesting to hear you say that because, as you said, we had Nico in, and he said with Asa, big dog in the men's, he was like, we get more publicity out of any hardline, Red Bull hardline, than any World Cup. To us, it's way bigger, he said, didn't he, really? The risk isn't worth the reward for you.
I don't think so, yeah.
No.
And but Gracie's really good at it, and she wants to be there. And from a team side, we support it because we want like a happy race as a fast racer.
Yeah.
So with Red Bull Hardline BC coming up, that's going to be a massive day for Gracie to ride there, like almost on home soil.
But I think it's at the end of the season, right?
It's going to be massive. Yeah, it's just after the season.
So she's got a long time if something does hopefully not happen. But if there's a problem, she's got a whole long off season to recover.
Yeah.
And to me, that's different.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
But before the season, it's
Yeah.
We had a rider out last season because of it.
Right.
And so it's a hard one. But man, talking about Nico and his team, they've done an incredible job.
Yeah, they have. Huh.
I mean, it's really cool to see what they've done. Nico and his team have done really good
mate.
stuff. Yeah.
If you love downhill, you can't help but love that too.
No, so good. And what he's done with Asa has been amazing.
Yeah.
How
great
good is
kid.
Asa? Who's the best coming up next year?
It's hard to say, and it's hard to say. But Nico, like the way he's supported Ace and helped Ace out, it's great to see. American downhill, we've had Gwen in the past. Not many other Americans.
Okay.
Well,
There was a guy, Eliot Jackson.
There was a big gap before. It was early on. They dominated, of course, with Miles and Rockwell, and then there was a big gap till Gwyn.
Gwyn.
Palmer, of course. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's right. There were some big American characters, but they have been gone. Like we went to the Red Bull Tennessee National.
Yeah,
I mean they're coming back.
It's cool to see. Like the racing's back in America.
Yeah.
Clay Harper and his team have put on a great series again.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember back in when I was in Honda, I had to race the Norbers, and I was leading the World Cup, and I had to skip a World Cup round to race a Norber.
Wow.
Because they wanted to win the Norber series before going to World Cup. So I had to drop. Anyway,
that's mad, isn't it? But
it's cool to see that Nico and this whole American
push.
Movement is coming back.
And he's done a great job with Asa. The whole team's really cool to see. They've done really well. I think it's awesome.
Greg, where do you see the sport going? Like, you now have been on the racing side, you're on the team side now. Like, what do you see for the future of downhill, or maybe the future of race teams?
I don't know. I haven't actually thought that far. I feel like I've stalled out a little bit because I've been so busy behind a flipping computer. Yeah. I don't know. I just can't stand emails, and I can't type, and I can't spell, and it just takes me forever.
Not the only one, yeah.
And I feel like I need to kind of jump ahead. I'm so involved in this team and trying to get everything set up and running smoothly. I need to kind of take a step back and think about things and look at where it's going.
Do you get as much out of a race day now as you did when you were racing?
Yeah, I haven't missed it. I think if I'd retired and then was sat at home watching on TV, I'd have FOMO big time.
Yeah.
It would have been hard, but coming into racing, I get such sweaty palms.
It's the perfect transition for you. It's amazing. Like
I stand in that pin and
you move straight
absolutely terrified for my riders coming down. And it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's such a cool sport. It's and things don't always go your way, but when they do, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it is cool.
Do you?
But where it's going, I don't know. It's like we're in this part now where we've progressed quite a bit in the last couple of years. Things have changed a lot.
It's got faster and faster. Do you see that as a good thing? Because it is really fast
it's
now.
Really
it's
hard.
faster than it's ever been right now.
It is, but it's really hard to blame the way that they tape in the tracks, because we can go through the same section that we did in the early 2000s, but we're on the rubber, the tires
The
are
equipment's
amazing.
insane.
Yeah.
Like you look at like Max's, how they're building these tires and how much effort they're going into to making these tires. The rubber's good, the suspension's amazing, the brakes are so good, the frames are good.
Yeah. The frame weighs nothing. You can't break it.
You've got engineers looking at the data to get the best traction and
Right.
the best suspension possible. So you go look at like even the lines on the racetrack. 10, 15 years ago, you'd have like the sheep line and then you'd have the pro line or something.
Yeah.
Now there's like the sheep line's the fast line. Everyone's on it.
Yeah.
There's no puzzlers. It's
Correct.
like
Is that how it
everyone's
is?
quick.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like very rare to see a rider like on a completely new, unique line, Whereas before, in our time, it was like, that was the way to do it. You'd find
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold it back till
It's-
last practice, do it once, and then run it as your
Exactly,
final
yeah.
run. Yeah.
Now it's like the riders are good. The teams have got people down the track helping the riders get on the right line.
Right. Yeah.
There's the bikes are amazing. It's
The athletes are
it's
amazing.
changed a lot. So the tracks have got faster, yeah, but so has the riders.
Yeah.
So how you slow it down, I don't know.
It's almost like
can.
you see it more as a natural progression. And
I think a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think more than the people are always like, the tracks were way more technical back then. Yeah, they were. The bikes were terrible. The tires were.
We had to go
Crap.
through the bump instead of jumping over it.
Yeah.
running down the flight of the stairs out of this room would have been mega technical and nearly
Yeah.
impossible on a bike from the 90s.
Yeah, and so it's everything's progressed, and
Yeah.
and maybe it's hard for the course designers to identify stuff because the riders are just that good now.
Right.
They're so good.
Yeah.
They make it look easy. They make it look fast. It does look nice on TV being fast. I think it's too fast. We are seeing some big accidents.
Yeah.
I hate seeing crashes.
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff. But maybe they can slow it down a bit.
Yeah. I mean, Greg, wrapping up, I think for your riding career, obviously, like you're known as the GOAT, like this incredible racer. And now in this phase of your career, do you want this to overshadow that first part? Like the second act, do you want it to be bigger than your first act? Like what do you want people to know you as in this context?
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why are you asking such an awkward question?
Is that an awkward question? Is that
Yeah,
awkward
I mean,
question?
I know it's a great question.
I don't know. I mean, this
That's
is
a great
deep.
question.
This is deep. I mean, you've been hanging out with Sarah too much. I don't like these awkward things. I never came into the sport to
Be asked
like
awkward
the
questions.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Everything's kind of just bumbled along into where it's
You
I
just
never
happen to
expected
you just happen to fall into being the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but I never started to be. I always wanted to win and win races, and I never thought at any time that I'd ever have won as many races I have, or be in that position. And I haven't. I'm competitive. I just want to.
Well, if this ends up
Yeah.
anything like if the first time that
Yeah.
you went out to win, then I think you'll be doing pretty good.
No, we want to win. We've got a good team. It's
Is this more challenging? Because before you only had to focus on you, and now you got a lot of stuff going on.
there's a lot going on. It is more challenging.
Yeah,
It's,
I can imagine it is, right?
like I'm like I like getting up early. Like in South Africa, I get up like 4:30.
Yeah.
And either I go for a ride or run or I go straight to work.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like get on my computer at like 5:30 in the morning and then get off at like 9 p.m. And I'm like, that was a long day.
Really? Do you really?
Yeah, that was a long day. When you're racing, it's good, except that email box just flipping gets full. So it's I think it's cool because it's like that's where we started off going like, if I'd known how much effort goes on behind the scenes, you would stand on that podium and probably cry every single time. Because, but I want this team to succeed. I do want to be the best team.
Yeah.
That's our vision. We want to be in the top 3 teams, and it's not easy to do that.
No.
And it's this part where you're the rider, you have the control to do it, and now you're trying to do everything you can to put the rider up there.
Yeah.
Which it's really up to the rider to put to put it all together.
Yeah.
So as much as control you can try and have, it's not really in your control.
Yeah. Man, Greg, I feel like from my vantage point, like growing up, you were one of the first people I met. Actually, the first. This funny story. My first World Cup in Val di Sole, 2010. We were finished. It was me, my mom, and my brother went there just on a whim, just us. Rent a car, flipped a bike over in the parking lot or whatever. No team or anything like that. And race finished, and my mom was like, "Hey, that guy over there, he looks lonely, he's sitting on the curb. Like, go talk to him. And I was like, that's Greg Minnaar. Like,
You had a bad day.
I think you probably won. And I was like, no. She's like, go talk to him. I was like, hey, how you doing? And then we became friends after that. Like, I feel like you were one of the first people I met. And so like getting to watch you throughout your career has been like so amazing, getting to commentate on your runs, getting to commentate on your
We got to call some of the best ones, dude, as well. We did. That was so sick.
The World Championship there in Valdesola, like that was just insane.
That was unbelievable.
That's been a crazy place for us.
Yeah.
We met Valdesola. You had that massive crash in Valdesola.
Oh my God, I had a huge crash.
Bikes back.
Dude, I don't think anyone can match your career now. Like the World Cup wins could go because there's more of them in a year, but surely no one is ever going to like be at the top for 2 decades now. I don't see it. I just don't. Your career is like when you're just talking then and thinking back about like, that was your last World Championship win, wasn't it? That was like,
it was, yeah. That was
to do it then at that age on that track was actually insane, mate. And that signaled to me just how insanely good you are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what a natural. You just
that track's a beast. That one's hard to
do
get
it there,
to.
mate. That was unbelievable. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, it was cool. That one was special. It's
is that the best? Do you think that was your best? Is that the one you
for sure.
Yeah,
it was the most fun. I mean, winning at home was great, but there was so much pressure I had to win.
That was unbelievable too.
Yeah, so that was
actually
that was a tough one. But winning in Italy was amazing. Yeah,
it was like third silver one or something. One point. How much was it?
It was like not much.
No.
And then I turned 40 like a month later.
Yeah,
which was crazy.
So, that's actually unbelievable, man.
It was cool.
Yeah,
no way. Yeah, fair play to you for that.
Thanks,
it's so cool. I mean, you've done so much to the sport on the bike, and now you're transitioning off.
And you're still in it, which is absolutely right. Mate.
Can't wait to
remember Eliot Jackson, Troy Lee kid. I remember that.
That's right.
Blue and yellow, and just scrubbing that final drop in. I mean, he had some style. Well, he's probably still got it.
He's still right just as well.
No.
Yeah.
I saw him at the Tennessee National in that A group practice.
All right, we're gonna end it right there.
Let's not compare anyone to you.
This is asymmetric here. But Greg, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone out there,
amazing, mate. Yeah, great, and good luck.
Hey, and thanks for what you guys do.
Great to see you in the sport and continuing to win. You're going to continue to win.
Yeah,
one way or
thank
another.
You. Thanks.
Thanks,
guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
Rob. Greg is one of a kind.
He was an absolute racer.
Yeah.
For like as long as we've known him, and then all of a sudden he's looking after races. He's in this role.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's been gentle in year one, but I think there's a lot more to come from Greg Minnaar as a rider manager, if you like. He's going to get involved with those athletes. He's got to throw some of his knowledge, some of his bike setup skills on them, right?
I think it's hard to say no to the guy who's won 22 World Cups and 4 World Championships.
23 if you include his 4-cross win.
Right.
We better get that in there. Yeah.
We hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you hit us up at our email, justride@redbull.com. Hit us up on socials. Let us know what kind of guests you want to see, what kind of questions you want to hear.
And if you want to watch us, then just check out Red Bull's Just Ride YouTube and you can watch these episodes in full.
Can't wait for the next one, and we'll see you guys later.